Hello again, everybody. My name is Matt with Gardens of Babylon. Here today to talk to you a little bit about growing fall vegetables in small spaces like containers here. Being down at the nursery is located down in Nashville, Tennessee, right pretty much downtown. So we have a lot of customers coming into the nursery wanting to do various things in the world of gardening on their porches, on their patios, on their decks. They have a lot of small spaces, but they still want to do something. And in the world of vegetable gardening, in the fall, you can have little vegetable gardens in containers of all kinds of various sizes. A lot of fall vegetables lend themselves really well for containers because a lot of them really are not large growing vegetables. A lot of things like lettuces are really good for containers. You have things like kohlrabi, which is a vegetable not too many people are familiar about, but really great in stir fries. The greens are really good to eat up top, can be used in containers. You even have things like kales. Various types of kales do really well in containers like this. Even things like bok choy, which is an Asian cabbage that can be used really well for containers also. And so today we're just going to be doing a little demonstration on doing a little container mix with some butter crunch lettuce and some bok choy. It can be used with spinach and bok choy. Spinach is another really great green for this type of application. But starting off, like with most container combinations, whether it's flowers or whether you're doing vegetables or houseplants, really, you just really want to make sure you start with a really good soil. It makes the world of difference with the results that you get when you start with a really quality potting soil. And some of my favorite potting soils are some that I mix up. They are a mixture of three components. One being kind of a lightweight peat-based potting soil mixed in with some type of compost, either a cow manure or a mushroom compost. Worm castings is another really good compost to use. And then finally, I'll add a little bit of an organic fertilizer, granular, to this soil mix to make sure that all my nutrients are covered. So once I got my soil mix finished up, I'll go ahead and fill up the container that I'm using. This one right here is about a 10-inch container. That's about the smallest that you could probably use for an application like this. You could have a lot of small 10-inch lettuce pots growing around. Cheap place to find a lot of containers, whether they're just black nursery pots, is at your local garden centers. A lot of them will have them laying around. I know we do, for people to come and use them for just cheap containers to use on their porches for this type of growing. But we'll fill this 10-inch pot with a couple lettuce plants and maybe a Asian cabbage, bok choy behind them. Butter crunch just gets easily planted into the very much the top 2-3 inches layers of soil. You just want to make sure that a lot of that good potting soil is just really easy. You don't need too many tools for this type of planting. Hands are just fine. Just kind of covering up the top soil, the top of the soil line to the existing top of the of lettuce start. And then to that, I'll go ahead and add some bok choy here. And again, 2-3 inch size plug. Just gets kind of potted, kind of orienting it to kind of grow off to the side just like that, and covered in, just packing down really well. And once you get everything done and packed in, just go ahead and water it in really well until you got excess water draining out the bottom. Good thing about fall and winter containers is that it's not as hot, and so you're really not out there having to water your containers not nearly as much as, say, in the summertime. So again, just get them in a bright sunny location. 4 to 6 hours of good direct sunlight is optimal, and just kind of water them when they're semi dry. You don't have to keep them waterlogged. If you get too many yellowing leaves, that just means that potting soil is just way too wet, and you got to let it dry out a little bit in between waterings. But as you can see here, that's really all you need. Good thing about a lot of fall vegetable growing is you don't have to wait till this lettuce produces a gigantic head for you to harvest. Good thing is you can just kind of keep pulling off leaves and using them in salads or using the bok choy in different stir fries as the plant matures. I'll probably let this grow for a week or 2 weeks before I even think about harvesting any of the leaves for kitchen use. But most of these guys will kind of mature out in about a 2-3 month period. After that time, you pretty much have used them up, and my recommendation is just to plant as many as you possibly can. There's really no limit. But only the fact that once you start getting into cooler climates, starting around farther north or down here around December, January, once it gets really cold, if you don't have any kind of protection like frost cloth or plastic on these guys, or a place in a sunroom or a miniature greenhouse that you can use, they're going to start really not producing all that much. So I'll probably finish up this container by around early to mid-December in a semi-protected area on my porch. But that's really all there is to them. Harvest them out, maybe use this container for something in the spring or summer, vegetable or color-wise. And but at least for the wintertime, you got fresh lettuce right out your back door, and you know how it's been grown. You know what kind of organic practices have been used, and we're big proponents of it. So I encourage everybody to do a fall-winter vegetable container. For ideas like this and other container ideas, feel free to check out www.gardensofbabylon.com. My name is Matt with Gardens of Babylon. Have a great day.